Hello folks, it's Angry Foster from GameSnafu.com here to review Godfather 2. Be forewarned, this review and the game being reviewed depict extremely gratuitous, violent acts, coarse language, and brief nudity. No worries, it's not me. Godfather 2 takes place in 1958, shortly before the Cuban Revolution, and by shortly I mean literally a matter of minutes. Now I don't want to spoil this storyline for those of you that have yet to play the game. So let's just say you start the game as a made man in Michael Corleone's family, but you are rapidly, and I mean rapidly, advanced to the position of Don due to an event which you have absolutely no control over. The goal of the game is simple. Threaten, extort, beat down, run over, burn, blow up, and or shoot your way to the top of the crime world. You start off the game small, with the ability to only recruit one made man, or soldier, into your crime family. However, after completing some tutorial-like missions, you will quickly be able to expand your family further. By the end of the game, you will run a crime family that consists of 4 made men, 2 capos, and 1 underboss, in addition to your consigliere, although you can't control him directly. Let's take a moment now to talk about these soldiers that you can recruit, as they are so important to the gameplay. Each potential soldier has several different statistics, although there are 2 statistics that seem more important above all the others. One being the soldier's skill set, or skill sets, and by this I mean whether they're good at setting fires, blowing things up, hand-to-hand fighting, healing, cutting fences, or cracking safes. The other skill is their weapon license. Their weapon license will dictate the type of weapons the soldier can use, with the basic license being the lowest license available, and the master license being the highest. Obviously, the higher the license is, the more weapons the soldier can use. This is what you're shooting for when you're recruiting these soldiers. You want to recruit a soldier that has a good weapon license. In addition to the skills the soldiers have, they also have distinctive personalities, or I should say that there are many different types of personalities that the soldiers can have in the game. Yes, there is some repetition. For example, some soldiers are cowards, some are psychopaths, some are alcoholics, and some are womanizers. Now this is just to name a few. The personality type of the soldier doesn't really play a major role in the game. It does, however, affect the random chatter that you're going to hear from them from time to time. There is no accumulation of experience or leveling up in this game. However, you can purchase upgrades for your soldiers and your character with money. Upgrades include increasing maximum health, improving weapons accuracy, melee damage, and the character's ability to extort or intimidate NPCs. At any given time, you can only have a maximum of 3 crew members with you. This means you can only bring 3 soldiers while you're out committing your criminal acts around the town. Your crew will, of course, faithfully follow you. If you get into a car, they'll get into the car with you. If you attack somebody, they'll attack that person you're attacking. If somebody attacks you, or I should say if some people attack you, which is more likely, your made men will attack them back. Do you need a building burnt down, or would you like to blow up a wall to get into a bank? Hey, order your made man to do it. As long as they have the appropriate skill, it won't be a problem. You can swap out crew members at any time. This is a particularly handy feature at the beginning of the game when the first soldiers you were able to recruit usually only have 1 or 2 skill sets available to them. One of the key features of the game is the Don's View. The Don's View quickly allows you to access a wide variety of information. Information about your family members, information about the rival families and their family members, information on the maps. This includes where all the various rackets are located in the game, favors that are owed to you by various NPCs. Perhaps one of the police chiefs in one of the maps owes you a favor for doing something that he didn't have the scruples to do on his own. In addition, you can use the Don's View to assign guards to the rackets you own. You can also send out your made men to defend rackets that are being attacked, or you might decide to send your made men out to attack one of the rackets of the rival families and attempt to take over. The game controls are pretty straightforward. Movement is accomplished using the WASD keys. Attacks are performed by using the right and left mouse buttons. Special attacks can be performed as well, such as the arm break melee attack, which was one of my personal favorites, by pressing the correct combination of right and left mouse buttons. There is one type of special attack, called an execution, that can be performed by pressing the assigned key, but only after administering a sufficient amount of punishment to a target. Ranged weapons can be selected in one of 2 ways, by using the mouse wheel, which allows you to quickly scroll through the various weapons you have access to, Although if you have a specific weapon in mind that you want to use, it's probably just faster to press the spacebar, which brings up the radial weapon selection menu, and then use the mouse to select the weapon you want. As you can see from the video, the game's graphics are quite good. Effects like explosions, fire, and gunshots all had a look to them that you would expect in a game such as this. One thing that we were particularly impressed by was the attention to the little details such as shell casings flying during combat and tire tracks being left on the road when you quickly accelerated or stopped a car you were driving. The voice acting in the game is based on the Godfather movies, and the mobsters have a tendency to talk like they would in the movies. That should be no big surprise. There is, however, a lot of repetition in terms of the voice acting that was used throughout the game, and unfortunately, a lot of the soldiers that you can recruit sound exactly the same. Regardless of this repetition, for the most part we found that the voice acting adds to the immersiveness of the game. Here's an example of a typical conversation.
These guys were talking about pouring me in concrete. Send a message to Roth. Fucking A. That's not how I want to go.
Now let's talk about stability. This game is quite stable. I played through this game twice from start to finish, and I only experienced a handful of game crashes. However, this didn't happen often enough to be a major concern or even a minor annoyance. Replayability of the game is going to come mainly from the multiplayer component, where you can play online against other wannabe mobsters. Well folks, it's time for me to wrap up my review of Electronic Arts' Godfather 2, and I have to say I think they have a winner on their hands here. It certainly is a fun game to play, and if you've enjoyed games like Grand Theft Auto before in the past, you're certain to enjoy this game as well. My score? 4 out of 5. I hope you enjoyed watching the review as much as I enjoyed making it. See you next time.
Right over there!